So, what happens if I send more than one piece of marketing?
That gets very complicated really fast. And it's very real, very, very real. Because we're not just living in a siloed world. Let's say that somebody gets a postcard and they got an email to reinforce that postcard. So you go in and you do a paid search. So maybe the postcard is for a particular product, and you do a paid search on that product. So now you're gonna do a pay per click, uh, and you're going to come into the website, maybe using that UTM code from the pay per click, but you're also influenced heavily by the postcard and by the email, which was saying, "Hey, look for this. Uh, it's coming." So how do you attribute that all? And really, there's a bottoms up approach and there's a top down approach. So by bottoms up, it assumes that you have the customer identity. Now, customer identity is a whole science in and of itself because what happens if the person comes in under Nicholas versus Nick? What happens if they're using a business address versus in one place and a street address, a home address in another place? So that's a whole another topic that we could spend another webinar on, is trying to understand how all that ties together and how to tie together identities. But anyway, the bottom up approach does require identification of the customer in some manner. And there's also another good webinar would be how to identify customers on the web, even if they never purchase or log on. Uh, there's some techniques around that, mostly around loyalty programs uh, that you can leverage. Uh, so, using a bottoms up approach, like I said, you have three marketing pieces. Well, using some statistical analysis, you can measure the effectiveness of, or the impact, we'll say, the impact of maybe email versus paid, which is a push type technology, against paid search, which is a customer going in and looking for something, versus the postcard, which typically are going to be sent to your best customers anyway, unless you're doing prospecting campaigns. But in all of those instances, you know who it was that did the work, or did the activity, the action. So now I've got three, and you can model up the lag of the impact of each piece. So using those lag models, you can start attributing a portion of a cell, if it consummates in an actual cell, uh, to each of the marketing pieces, making sure that you don't exceed 100%. And maybe some of it's just viral, just the fact that they know your brand and they shop your brand. So it's not all necessarily marketing. Using so using individual models of impact for each of the different marketing channels, then you can blend those together. You basically get the probability that marketing material, that marketing contact, influence that cell,
Mm.
and you get all the probabilities, and then you can combine them. So what we did was actually just, let's say that there was a, based on the lag pattern, there was a 20% chance that the email uh, influenced that cell, and there was a 30% chance that the uh, paid search influenced that cell, and then there was another 25% chance that the postcard influenced that cell. So that adds up to 75%. So you can divvy out that cell to the three different media marketing channels, and then the 25% that's residual is, you can assume to be just brand. Now, we did that, and we actually used another technique, which we'll talk about in a minute, and the numbers align pretty well. So it's all statistical, and it's all the law of big numbers. That yeah, maybe in this particular case, the email didn't have